Am I alone? I think that Darin just lost his internet connection. And I do not know what he prepared for us today, so we'll have to wait for a second or two. Unfortunately, I'm not good at singing. I cannot sing for you. I do not dare dancing, but I bet that he will arrive in a second or two or three or four or five. Cannot tell jokes either. Actually, I can, but then people say that it's offensive. Darin will join us in a moment. He already told me before we started the stream that he has trouble with his internet connection. Until then, let's do this. Ask me anything. Ask a question and I will answer it if I know. If I don't, I will invent the answer and pretend how I know that topic. I can do weird things with my eyes. Let me see. What's with Darin? Hey, Alexandru. Hey, Engin, Miroslav, Karan. Welcome all. What do I think about micro-K8s? So I think that micro-K8s to me sounds... Oh, there is Darin. So let me answer it very quickly. Micro-K8s sounds like something that makes sense mostly for those using Linux as on their laptops. No, on servers, it's a different story. I don't, so I never really considered it seriously. That does not mean it's not good. But hey, I'm not using Linux on my laptops. There we go. Darin is back. And he might, if he disappears again, I will answer the other questions that everybody asked.
Hi. That's 3 times. Hopefully that was the last one. In the past 30 minutes, I've lost, and we were down to what, 5 seconds when I cut out on the countdown?
Like
it was close,
exactly.
yeah. Hi, everybody. What's the paradox of DevOps? You know, we had a conversation about that yesterday. We'll get into all this.
Yeah.
But, hi, by the way. Sorry I'm late. Actually, I wasn't late. I was here. My carrier, which I will not name them, but they're in North Carolina and they're one of the few,
Just tell us the
times.
first 5 letters of their name and the last 5.
There's not that many letters.
Okay.
That should tell you what it is.
You're untrickable.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, okay, so last weekend, I was actually out of internet for 36 hours. Completely, 36 hours. I had to read a book, like paper. I had no internet.
Hey, that's one of the things I like in Norway. Internet providers have to pay a fine if they are down for more than a couple of minutes, something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's a public service. It's considered public service.
No, it's utility. Yeah.
Exactly.
Power.
Just like you cannot cut water from people's homes, right?
Yeah. So, but that's not why people are here to listen to us ramble today. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm Darren. This is Victor. We're the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox, which Neil's already alluded to. Comes out on Wednesdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, and I see Victor's already started drinking. That's good. It feels like I need to. And on Fridays we do this show, except for last Friday, which we decided to take off because Victor was returning, or had just returned, from the most magical place in the world, Mosul, Afghanistan. Or no, you were in Paris.
I was in Disneyland Paris, yes.
Disneyland Paris. Big difference,
Yeah.
or the same difference?
Disneyland Paris and Paris.
Yeah.
Both have castles, just some are newer than others.
Like Disney is newer than...
What gave it away?
I know basic European history. Basic. I'm not that much of a complete dunce in the United States. Or maybe I am.
But let me tell you this, that I've been with my daughter in Disneyland in US and Paris, it cannot be compared.
U.S.
Paris
is better?
Sucks big time, yes.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, Paris is only like in, 2 square kilometers, if even that much? It's
Yeah,
bigger
it's
than
small,
that, but it's small.
There are no characters to entertain kids while waiting in a line and stuff like that.
Maybe they pulled them because of the heat.
No,
it
I
hot?
have a theory that you know how France became republic because they kicked royalty out of their country and said never again. Maybe they don't want to see princesses in any form anymore.
Oh, interesting. That's a good conspiracy theory. I'll go with that
There
one.
you go.
Okay. Let's see. We had some other things here. Double check it. Yeah. Okay. Good. We'll come back to the comments here in a few minutes. Let me go ahead and get into today's show because there's a lot to cover and actually have a hard out at the top of the next hour. We'll be done well before then. But last week's, so since we missed last Friday, we've got 2 weeks worth of things to talk about. We'll get through them quickly. How to secure Kubernetes was the one from the previous week. What the heck? Gremlins. And we had Lachlan Evenson on. You met Lachlan at KubeCon, and he bought you drinks, if I remember the story correctly.
Yeah, and I paid off by inviting him to do work for us in our podcast.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I kind of I had so much fun with him in KubeCon that I thought, hey, we need to transfer that guy into the podcast.
And this is the episode to where at KubeCon NA, Victor and Lachlan are going to get together and eat Vegemite.
Just thinking about it makes me sick.
It shouldn't. It's not bad.
No?
No,
It looks
it's not
bad.
It looks
Does
like
taste better
burnt
than
motor
it is,
oil.
right?
It
Exactly.
does it taste better than it looks? I'll leave that up to you.
Okay.
I don't mind it. It's fine. But I eat lots of weird things because I'm from the South. Like fried rabbit, fried squirrel, fried turtle. You know,
All of a sudden, you remember the competition we had in DevOps World years ago? Who's going to eat more chili?
I wasn't there for that one, but yes. I was there for that one. Yes.
Yeah.
That was in San Francisco.
All of a sudden, that sounds like a better
Oh.
alternative.
Vegemite's a better alternative than what...
Yeah?
Yeah, because I remember that because Ryan Smith and I can't remember. There were a couple other people. But the guy that won it though was just he had a stomach of iron. I do remember that. I had forgotten about that because that was the last year. I think it was at the Marriott. We were down in the basement and we had this really loud party band. We were right up against it while that hot wing challenge was going on. Speaking of DevOps World, a little plug. I don't get paid for this. DevOps World live in Orlando, Florida. So if you want to go to Disney World at the end of September when all the kids are back in school, September 27, 28, and 29, Orlando, Florida. DevOpsWorld.com. Okay. I don't get paid for that. I should get paid for that. I'm not going to say anything else about that.
I always had fun at whenever I was in DevOps World. It was a great experience. So
Yeah.
recommending.
This is the first year that it's back live in 2 years. And this is the first year that it's in Florida. Because previously it's always been either San Francisco or San Jose.
When is it?
September 27, 28, and 29th.
Okay. I guess after the it's not anymore that hot, I guess. Because Florida was unsupported
it's Florida.
when I was there in August.
Yeah, it's not horrible. October is better, but that last week of September usually isn't bad. But anyway, how do we get off on that? Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, so how to secure Kubernetes was last week's. This week's, you were being very polite to Docker.
I was?
Yeah, I was sort of shocked.
Okay. I forgot already what I said. I'm shocked as well.
We talked about all the new things that came out in Docker Desktop.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so extensions and what was the other thing? Extensions was the big one. The preview environment or remote environment. And then there was something in the middle. I can't remember the third one.
Yeah, but those were
for Linux. Desktop for Linux. That was the last one.
Yeah.
Again. Then we talked about Rancher Desktop and where everybody else is going. So I think we still just have to wait and see where it lands, right?
It's a
Is
good
that pretty
start.
much it? Yeah. I think, okay. Let's go back over to, okay, Ingen is saying it's horrible. This is going back to Vegemite. It's not horrible. But again, I eat lots
I
of weird
trust
things.
Ingen on that one more than you, eh?
You probably should, because I don't mind.
Because his description matches the look of it. Your description of Vegemite does not match how it looks. And I have a theory that if food does not look good, it's not good.
It's not true, but that's okay. That's a good theory, but it's not true. I am still getting used to my new studio. I don't have it behind the scenes to where you can see it, but my monitors are still just not where I want them. So I'm having to look up and off. CNCF this week moved Kyverno from Sandbox to Incubating. Is this shocking?
Go Kyverno. That's all I'm going to say. Go, go, go. I love the project. And people behind it are absolutely awesome.
Big deal, not big deal? They hadn't been in Sandbox very long, right?
Yeah, I don't remember, but I would say that they've been in Sandbox for less than a year, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not too long. I don't remember. I thought we just talked about it just a few months ago, but maybe it has been longer. So anyway, some of their numbers. Oh, here we go. Added to Sandbox, October of 2020. So it's been more than a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Just under 2 years. Wow.
It's still fast progress.
Well, look at this chart. 1 million in March, 9 months later, 100 million. 100x growth or 100x downloads. That's not shabby. 9 maintainers from 7 organizations. 9. Count them. 9.
Is that
9
a message to all the enterprise companies that they need, that they think that you need around a couple of 100 people to successfully do a project?
When you think about it, let's make the math easy. Let's say 10, just to make it simple. 10 people produced 100 million downloads 7 months ago.
Or 123 releases.
123 releases. Open source 2019. So now they're at 3 years and change. It's amazing. So anyway, that's Kyverno. When do you think, okay, so based on this, when do you think when they'll graduate from incubating?
Oh, graduation is a different ball game. It's much harder to graduate.
Yeah.
Takes more, not only harder, but it takes much more time, right?
Yeah.
You need to prove, among other things, you need to prove that companies are using it successfully. And that's relatively hard because many companies are never going to tell you that they're using it. There are a bunch of other requirements, so it's tough. I don't know how many, but it's still a handful of projects that are graduated, right?
Well, we have a moment. Let's see. 'Cause that's a good question. I haven't looked recently. Projects, graduate.
Yeah, there's the first option.
So 1, 2, 3,
16.
16 total.
Yeah.
We should put a number here. But if you look at it, there's Linkerd, Kubernetes, Rook. So yeah, it'll take a while.
It's so strange that I still don't. If you ask me before show this, do you know all the graduated projects? I would say yes, but I never used TIKV or whatever it is. I have no idea what it is.
This one here.
Second to last, yeah.
Yeah. It's a key value store. So you have 2 databases. OPA is already there. I wonder if, do you know? I wonder if there's a way that something that has graduated could ever be buried.
Ungraduated. I don't know, kind of like, can you take away graduation diploma from somebody?
I don't know. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Well, it sort of is. Next up, I saw this. Do you know who Spiff 13 is?
No idea. What
Have you heard of applications like Hugo, Cobra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is him. This is Steve Francia. And he was the product lead for Go at Google.
Okay.
Keyword being was. He's now going to work for just a small little startup to do things. So it's a really just basically this is his goodbye. And goes through why I'm leaving and where he's going at is 2 Sigma. So
Okay.
be interesting.
Another one, I have no idea what it is.
And this was the other thing too I'd
I know
forgotten
6
about. He had
Sigma,
led
but not 2.
yeah. Well, I'd forgotten that he had led Docker engineering.
Oh my.
So now he's going to do data science. Everybody's going to do data science, huh?
Everybody gets bored and starts doing something else eventually.
After 10 years being the product lead for Go, I mean, not that, Steve, we don't want to see you go, but dude, it's time. Why not? Hugo, Cobra, Viper. I mean, think about everybody that's using Cobra. Just
Yeah.
everybody. So the whole story about that is actually, if you read this whole thing, and actually he did a an interview. Oh, there was a Hugo Conf a couple of weeks ago, and he did on the second day of Hugo Conf, he did a session looking back on it as the creator. He's not active in it anymore. So Hugo is our friend. That's what we'll use to generate our site. Very simple. Okay. I had no idea this was true. Cloud Run now supports container images in the OCI format. Why would they have not supported OCI to begin with?
Didn't it?
It didn't.
How am I running my site in Cloud Run? I don't understand.
I don't know. When
I'm
I saw this,
definitely sending an image, not source code, to Cloud Run.
right.
Okay.
I've done the same thing too. I was like, okay. I mean, it was interesting that it came out this week and was like, but isn't that what you already do? I was sort of confused. I was a lot confused,
too.
actually.
But
So,
okay.
thumbs up. They officially support it now. Maybe that was it. Maybe they supported it, but not officially supported it.
That's possible, yeah.
Okay. Here's the big thing. And I saw y'all were already chatting about it a little bit. Kubernetes Gateway API graduates to beta.
That's
Is this-
really, really great news.
This is the beginning of the end of Ingress?
This is the beginning of the end of, beginning of the end. This is a new spec, right? Beginning of the end of Ingress, but service mesh in a way as well.
Even service
not
mesh.
service mesh per se, but I assume that service meshes are going to be jumping into supporting Gateway API.
Well, that would make sense. So it's not service. So service mesh as we know it today is probably going to be changing quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it will still be the same.
It'll be the
code
same,
bases and stuff like that, but it
yeah.
will start supporting the specification, hopefully.
Yeah. So Gateway API in beta, which means in theory you can start using it, right?
Yeah, beta typically means no breaking changes.
Yeah. So anyway, typically. Well, you have to have some mesh. But here I saw this part too. Significant overlap between SMI APIs and Gateway API has inspired discussion in the SMI community about possible integration. Going back to what you were just talking about.
Yeah. I mean, going back to beta, I feel that for majority projects, beta is actually, this is production ready. And it becomes V1 when it's proven by others that it's production ready. So it's kind of, we think it's production ready and we know it's production ready.
Right. So next steps, they've got some other things to work on. gRPC route, graduating TCP, UDP, and TLS to beta. I mean, seems
Nice.
like they're moving right through this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're going right through these things here. Let's go back over here real quick. Go back to what we were talking about from incubating earlier. Harbor went fast from incubating to graduated.
I feel so too, but to be honest, I'm not really closely watching what's the status of a project, so I couldn't guarantee, but I have the same feeling as well.
Question from Vrash. I learned Go, made a couple projects, but how to develop performant, highly scalable, and reliable microservices with Go. Do you want to answer that one? You don't?
That's the difference. I mean, that's the same in every language.
Yeah, exactly.
Learning a language is one thing. Becoming really proficient in a language, so that you can build whatever you mentioned there, that takes time always.
Yeah. David said, we're dealing with this, talking about the OCI. Our local Artifactory instance hosts tens of thousands of images and doesn't support OCI, so we need to upgrade. I wonder if it was due to the registry. That's why they're now supporting OCI. But it seems like GCR would have been supporting OCI from the beginning. Right? Because that's all that you're using under the hood with GCR.
Or maybe I'm completely wrong, and actually when you build an image with Docker or Canic or whatever you're using, it's not OCI really. I'm confused.
Could be. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I saw this post from Slack this week, and it's about AutoTransform. And I've had this conversation with a few other people since this came out. But the way they start this out is every code base starts off small and modern. While it's still small, teams can keep it up to date. But then I'll just fast forward through the rest of this. It turns into Frankenstein's monster, and then you don't know how to patch it all easily at one time. Now, there is what I call a competing project, not so much called Open Rewrite, that does the same thing. But basically, it just makes it easy for you to manage changes across the board. Now, why they decided to go schema-based for code mods, I don't understand, but that's their choice. So now you can basically have an easy button to say, go upgrade all these things to do this now. I mean, it's useful, I guess. But here's their flowchart. Get an input, apply some filters, you batch it up, and then you start transforming and validating and whatever.
Okay. It's something I should check probably, the project itself.
Yeah, it is Python based, so you might run away from it from that. But you ought to take a look at Open Rewrite as well. Compare this to Open Rewrite.
Yeah.
They just open sourced it this week, so they're going to be adding some more stuff. But if anybody's writing code, it's Slack, which is now Salesforce, right? Because Salesforce bought Slack. Who hasn't Salesforce purchased? Different conversation for a different day. Okay, anyway. That is called AutoTransform.
Kind of, Salesforce purchases are, for me, the hardest to understand. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is a reason why and how and all this stuff. When Microsoft purchases something, it almost immediately clicks. Oh, that's why they want this, right? For Salesforce, I don't understand it.
I mean, it's not like who's the head at Salesforce? I'm drawing a blank. I can see him. I can't. Mark. It's not like Mark needs a new boat to go race Larry, right? That's not. Yeah. That's not Mark's thing.
When I say I don't understand it, kind of how does it fit into the global picture of what the company does?
Well, could you say the same thing? Why Heroku?
Slack is useful. Yeah, I mean Heroku exactly. Kind of what the heck.
I mean, to me, if you compare those two, Slack makes more sense than Heroku did. Right?
Yeah, but what is it for Salesforce users to speak with each other?
Yeah, but then they already had chatter inside of Salesforce. So, yeah. What's our general opinion on Slack? Is it worth considering alternatives? I believe the answer is yes, especially with the changes that they just made this past week for free versions of Slack. Did you see this? Did you get a little notification?
No.
So basically, they're only going to keep 90, instead of keeping 10,000 messages like they used to, they'll only be keeping 90 days of messages.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with, right? It's free, and I'm not going to...
To me, sounds reasonable. I think that the problem is really that Slack is used maybe for the things it shouldn't be used, right? It's a messaging tool. I'm not supposed to use that as some sort of documentation to which I'm supposed to go back, right? If there is something that is worth keeping, I think that should go out of Slack instead of keeping it forever.
I agree with that. But the alternatives, so if I had to pick one, you're probably not going to like the answer. I would probably pick Mattermost today.
Yeah.
For the same reasons that I pick, I would probably pick.
I'm going to give the same answer as the answer I'm giving when people ask me about using some alternative to Helm for third-party apps. Yeah, I would go for Mattermost or whatever, but I still need to have Slack. So I would be adding stuff, not replacing, right?
Yeah.
So kind of like, if we could collectively decide to move to Mattermost, which would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Not saying no. Then yeah, but I don't want another Slack-like app on my desktop. One is enough.
Yeah. And Jason brings up Rocket Chat. Yeah, that's another one too. That's just as good. I mean, they solve the basics are the same, but then when you get into the details, I would still probably. I mean, Rocket Chat's fine just for chat. If all I'm thinking about is chat, I'm good. Ingen, go to your corner.
Yeah. Go away, Ingen. You're banned from this channel.
I would never ban. Well, I would ban some people from the channel, but not people that have showed up here. Trolls. We don't have trolls here. Discord. I have a love-hate relationship with Discord. I'm not sure that I could ever. I'm in a few Discord channels. Well, so I'm in probably 8 or 9 different Discords. I don't remember what they call it. And I'm only really active in 2 of them. Only because I have to be. So, if I didn't have to be active in those, I wouldn't be in Discord. So, that's just me. Okay. I can't see. Oh, JetBrains. People keep telling me, you in particular, keep telling me that self-managed and on-premise is dead. Okay, you don't tell it that way.
I'm not saying that.
I know. I'm trying to cause issues here.
Trying to irritate me, huh?
So anyway, Space from JetBrains is now completely for on-premise, which I think is pretty cool. Because there are people, go figure, that still can't use the cloud today.
I'm irritating that they're saying on-premise. I think that we should stop using that term.
And just say self-managed?
Self-managed, exactly. Because I can bet that I could run whatever this is in my AWS or Google or Azure account.
Yeah.
So it's not really on-premise.
But on-premise has...
Only.
Right, but if they're selling to people that don't... You tell somebody on-premise, they get it. It's like, it's inside of my 4 walls. I mean, it's just what it is. Whereas self-managed may not make the same... Because self-managed, think like Bitnami, right? I could self-manage some Bitnami images, but I'm still dependent that way. Bad example.
Yeah, but... So, yeah, fair enough. If you say self-managed, then on-prem people might not get that it's for them. But on the other hand, if you say on-prem, then... people running in cloud that do want to manage it themselves, and there are many reasons why somebody should do that, are not going to get it. So somebody is not going to get it. And if somebody is not going to get it anyway, then I would like to use the term that better describes something.
Yeah. But it's a free plan with up to 10 users with the public release. I cried a little bit here. Docker Compose deployment for easy to try installations. Now, that would be the question is that the only way that it runs, or is that just tire kicking?
Look at the next one.
This one. Oh, thank you. Because it was the other side of the screen for me.
Really, let's face it, for somebody who is not kind of living and breathing Kubernetes, Docker Compose is easier. It's
Absolutely
true statement.
Is that really the sweet spot for Docker Compose today? Is tire kicking?
No, it's just a matter of time, right? Because
Well, yeah.
for me, it's actually just as easy to run it in my Kubernetes cluster than with Docker Compose. Actually, it's easier because I already have a cluster.
Right.
I don't have a server for
running Docker
for
Compose.
that purpose,
Right.
right? And I wouldn't say for bigger installations Kubernetes, easier maybe. For Kubernetes deployment for less easy installations. Maybe that would be a better term, right?
JetBrains needs to hire you. Anyway, if you want to get started with it, you can fill out the form, and they will check with you, and they go through all the stuff. What are the features available? Okay, here, let's look at this. Git hosting. Not sure about that one. Code reviews, good. Integration with IDEs, good. Issues and issue boards, docs, package management, chats, mobile clients, desktop client, team management, calendars. How many things does this eliminate?
I was about to ask, what is... Let's start with the obvious question. What is space? Is
Okay.
it like Gitpod something?
It's beyond that. So it does all these things that I'm hovering over here.
Okay, it's kind of...
So it's Atlassian plus
Okay.
from a tool set perspective.
Cool.
So, which it's been, so this is just for the on-premise. They've had it for, cloud-based. It's free, but it's only $8 per user per month. Billed annually at $96. That's team, and org is $20 per month. I mean, that's you're in that pricing range with GitHub and everybody else. So
Yeah, except that those prices jumped 20% for me since a couple of weeks ago.
all prices have jumped 20%.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's space. And if you're constrained and have to run on premise or self-managed, as the case may be, might be something to look at. I mean, you're
It's
probably not.
The reason why they're saying on-premise, even though it's technically not correct, is probably that I'm guessing that maybe most cloud users are not going to run it themselves, but use SaaS. Maybe that's
Right.
the thing.
Yeah. Alexander, what about pricing? We looked at the pricing. I don't know what Atlassian's pricing is today. I haven't even tracked it in years. Because usually it's self-managed from my perspective. Or it's not. It's cloud, it's Jira Cloud, and it's Confluence Cloud, but I don't really look at it. What, Jordan, it sounds pretty good, especially the free part. Yeah. I mean, the free seems to be pretty reasonable. I mean, if you just take a look at, let's go back to the free here. Unlimited users and projects, 20,000, okay, that's fine. 10 applications, okay, that might be whatever. You only get 20 applications in team. 2,000 computation credits, whatever that is. Storage seems a little small. 50 gig of transfer per month seems pretty small. Hibernated. I mean, tire kick it, see what it is, and then if it's like, I need more, well, at worst it's $8 a month, which is what you used to pay to GitHub.
Yeah.
Unlimited searchable messages. I don't know what that's about. Applications connected to your organization in space. In space. Interesting. Moving on. Since you're just grinning at me now. Terraformer.
Okay. Now I'm interested. What is it?
This is a CLI tool that generates Terraform, JSON, and TF state files based on existing infrastructure.
Nice.
I don't know if you noticed who this was from, but it's from Google Cloud Platform.
Okay.
But, hold that part, this is not an official Google product. It came out of the Waze, the driving tool, Waze?
Yeah.
Came out of Waze.
So, okay, wait. Does that mean that Waze folks, before they were acquired by Google, were doing everything by clickety-click? And now they realize that infrastructure as code is a thing. Is that what's going on?
No. Well, okay. So
Did we catch them?
I don't think so, but maybe. This has been out for quite a long time. This is an old project, which I just heard about this week.
Okay, makes sense.
So it's if you go all the way back, I mean the 0.8 line came out 3 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know how I missed this in all our time here, but I guess you point it. You can point it at AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, Ali Cloud, and IBM Cloud, or just general clouds. So,
Nice.
then how does it work? You just say import provider and say go, I guess.
Now let me predict what happens after you say go. You get a mishmash of HCL that nobody can maintain. But it's probably better than starting from scratch.
That would be my guess.
I'm
That
so
would be
negative
okay, though.
around those tools that I never saw tools that actually create maintainable code. And I'm not talking about Terraform now, just to clarify, but you know, any of those things that transform into code.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Terraformer. Might be worth looking at.
Yeah.
It's used by these people. I see a donut. Look, I had to change my diet for like a week because of some tests I've got going on. Nothing bad, just tests. And I really want a donut and I can't have it. And I saw
know,
one right now.
That's why when you disappeared at the very beginning, I was doubting whether it's your internet connection or you passed out.
Or passed out. Yeah.
But then I thought if he passed out, he wouldn't lose internet connection at the same time. We would see.
No, I'm eating. It's just I'm just not eating what I want, which is the problem. Git-Story. Now, unfortunately, this landed me on a page that has ads and more ads and more ads. So I'm going to be careful how I scroll here because I'm not sure what's going to show up below the fold. But what you can do is it will generate an MP4 animation of your Git commit history with one command. So play out an MP4 for you for what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a CLI. So it's just
I'm
doing...
failing to understand why would anybody watch that.
Well, it's not so much you're going to watch it, but if you needed to throw this into a presentation...
Okay, yeah, sure.
Right? Just like how you'd have, those cool screen grabs for your code, right? That's a nice image and formatted to where you can paste it into a slide. That's the way I see this.
I get it now. It must be for engineers, for managers complaining how engineers do not work and managers incapable of knowing what is Git. And then you show a video of many things happening and say, you see I'm working?
Git-Story. Okay. And it does link off, I believe, to the project right here. Let's see. Let's go take a look at it. Because I did not put that click in there. So here's the video animation. Okay, here. We can watch this play out. So it tells you and it does all these things. It would make somebody happy, right?
It could be a quiz, kind of like, okay, so what happened at the third? You know how you have those games where you need to, you see a picture and then you need to answer some questions, kind of, to see how good your memory is.
Oh, wait, we had a branch and we had a merge.
Oh.
That's actually pretty cool.
Netflix, here it goes, competition.
But no, I mean, you could see this being used in a presentation,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
If you're teaching Git, this would be a good way to teach Git
Yeah, true.
visually. So, okay, that is that. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, Aqua came out with a new tool this week. I believe it was this week.
That's exciting always, whatever comes from Aqua.
Wait, let me double check it real quick because I don't want to give them too much credit, but I want to give them enough credit. So it came out June 13th was the very, very first release. So Chainbench is, and I read this and I read it again and I read it a third time. And I still don't understand it. So maybe you can help me. It's a tool for auditing your software supply chain stack for security compliance based on a new benchmark. So it's a tool to audit your auditing tools.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the
That's what it
supply
says,
chain,
right?
but it's yet another kind of, all those scanners are kind of unknowingly the same, if you ask me. Kind of like, I scan something based on some database somewhere. And this is yet another, kind of scanning based on some data. Whatever that supply chain benchmark
Whatever it is. Right.
And I'm really disappointed that vast majority of such tools, because the only goal of those tools is to depress people. That's the only goal, right? Kind of like there is, because if you can pause when it shows the results.
Let me see. No, it's a GIF.
Keep it running. Okay.
I can't.
I mean,
so we'll get
it
it
shows
to
the results, and this is a simple, probably hello world, and you already have like 50 something, and
Failed.
you say, and now what?
Yeah. This is the faster way to get that spreadsheet from the auditors.
Yeah.
Right. We're just
Exactly.
eliminating the auditors.
Exactly. And then we spend 7 days finding reasons not to do anything from the audit report.
Yeah.
Because
So anyway, if you want to eliminate your auditors and automate them away, Chainbench might be one of the things. But it's specifically for this one CIS supply software supply chain benchmark, whatever that is, which is from somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so that is Chainbench. See what's next. Oh, I always say on the podcast, links are down in the show notes. Check this out. The actual site is called Links in the Show Notes. This has nothing to do with programming, but watch this.
Okay.
Whoops. It found us and then it didn't find us. Okay, there we are.
There we go.
So then what will happen is it will view and search based on these many links from these episodes. Now, not from the live streams, not what we do here, but from the podcast itself. And then you can look for in contains. If I want to look for contains, I want to try to find, I don't know, or link text URL. So let's say I'm trying to find Lachlan's information and I can remember Lachlan's name. And I hit search, then there's Lachlan's link off to his Twitter handle.
Okay. So it's Google for podcasts.
It's a Google for links that are within the show notes of podcasts.
Okay.
We have lots of repeating ones. So now this tells me I need to be even more consistent.
More information.
More information. Yeah.
More information, always.
I probably should link to this. Can I link to... Yeah, because that's our ID number right there. So, anyway, that is links in the show notes. Something weird. Okay. Renovate.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely bloody amazing.
I've looked at Renovate and compared it to Dependabot. Tell me the difference.
There is, so kind of like, if you just run it, both of them as is, not much difference. But then the amount of flexibility that Renovate gives you is tremendous. Kind of like you can choose exactly kind of like, hey, I want to receive pull requests only every Monday, so group all the stuff. It has another thing that I'm not 100% sure, but I would say that Dependabot doesn't have is a constantly open, never to close issue that acts as your dashboard. So if you go to the issue that it opens, basically you will always see the summary of and all the links of all the pull requests that were opened by Dependabot, which is kind of, think of it as Grafana type of stuff.
As that Renovate
dashboard.
opened is what you meant,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I love that. And really what you can do is Renovate JSON is just amazing, kind of. Now, how many people need that level of fine-tuning? Actually, everybody. One of the first things that I think that most people will discover is that after a couple of weeks of running Renovate or Dependabot, you go crazy with daily pull requests. And then you say, okay, how about we do this once a month?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Or probably not once a month, but weekly, something just to, not daily. Because if you're doing it daily.
One of the things I like, because it kind of makes me feel good, is when I get messages from projects after I publish a video saying, great, we are going to work on that. So I complained big time how Renovate should expand its scope further, like to Kubernetes manifests as an example. And they're working on it.
Really?
And when I say Kubernetes manifest, it's already doing the, hey, you published a new image, I should update the image in the deployment. Right. That's kind of, but what is really annoying for me is keeping track of all the changes in Kube APIs. Right? That would be a killer. And they're working on it. So I'm kind of happy.
Okay, so that's Renovate. And then finally this week was KEDA.
Oh, KEDA. I love it. It's absolutely kind of, it's one of those things that everybody should use. Whomever is using horizontal pod autoscaler should stop defining horizontal pod autoscaler and start defining KEDA manifests, scaled objects.
Really? So
yes.
Why is that?
I lost you there. Can you repeat?
Why would people dump HPA in favor of KEDA?
So it's still HPA. KEDA will create HPA for you.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So it's just a layer up.
Exactly. But it's it can be based on anything, because one of the things you quickly discover is that scaling your apps based on memory and CPU is never going to be enough, right? There are so many other things that you want to scale on. And memories, there are many even languages that, hey, let's say JVM, and I'm talking from experience from 10 years ago, and you correct me, right? If JVM is going to use all your memory that you give to a container, right? So how are you going to scale based on memory, right? Usage. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And it creates HPA for you, right?
So there seems to be a lot of, everybody's liking it. Miroslav likes it. Ingen likes it based on the scalar choices. Stefan with, simple way to scale. So it's just a wrapper around HPA and other things, right?
Yeah,
that
so
way you can.
The scalars are the key, right? Kind of,
right.
You can scale based on messages in Redis, in Kafka. Basically, there are, I don't know, like 50 scalars or 100 scalars. Nobody knows. Massive amount. So whatever you think that, hey, let's say messages in Kafka, kind of that's a good example. You know that your application can handle certain number of messages, right? And then you can say, hey, whenever the number of pending messages reaches this number, scale the up so that I can pull them faster, right? Great.
And it handles the scale down as well?
Yes,
or
I mean, scale down is always more problematic because HPA scale down is kind of, so you have some things to be desired. So KEDA will not neither scale up or down, right? KEDA will instruct, create HPAs and manipulate them, and then HPAs scale up or down. And I see the comment from Engin. Yes, Microsoft is using KEDA together with Dapper for Azure Container Apps.
Oh, wow. So that's KEDA.
So absolutely, kind of like, it's one of those no-brainer type of recommendations.
Yeah. Miroslav says here, colleague tested the Kafka integration, a little lacking. So scaling based on metrics from Kafka stored in Prometheus, right?
Yes.
That's okay. Yeah.
So kind of like each scaler is a separate project in a way, right? Done by potentially different people. So not all, it's the same thing like modules in Terraform, right? Not all modules or plugins in Jenkins, so on and so forth, right? Not all of them are going to be of the same quality, of course. But the fact that actually there is an option to use Kafka is already massive, right?
Anytime you can have that kind of messaging just available, that opens up the world. Whether it's Kafka or Redis or just something simple, or, as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. So next week, Monday you have a video. In fact, it's already done, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I'm sad because I had like 3-4 videos queued and done in advance, and now next Monday I will have 0 again.
You have 0 again. Monday comes every week.
Yeah. I made a mistake because the person that does animations and anything decided to get married, and I said it's okay. I should have said no.
That he couldn't get married?
Not allowed, exactly.
Not allowed. Okay.
You need to create kind of like at least 20 in advance.
Exactly. Wednesday podcast. Thursday, Victor is back over on DevOps Toolkit with guests. Do you want to talk about who the guests are?
Guests are Mauricio
Do you remember?
and I'm so terrible with names, man.
Whitney.
It says Whitney, yes, Whitney, yeah. Both from VMware and both heavily involved one way or another with Knative. So we're talking about serverless. But it's, like any AMA. We start the session with this is topic and then questions start pouring in on anything. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's just a topic starter, yeah. And it's going to be a bit delayed because right before that one, I will have a live session with Whitney on enlightening, which is absolutely amazing. It makes me very happy that I'm in her show.
Is it on YouTube?
Nobody knows. But I can find the link and paste it here. Here.
I'm trying to see.
I don't know. I think it's in Twitch and YouTube or something like that. But here's the link in the comments. Kind of, and then from there on, I think you go one place or another.
Okay. So we'll go back to back on that. So you come off of her channel, back onto your channel.
Yeah.
And Friday we'll be back here. And I think that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we do it all over again.
Repeat.
Repeat again.
Repeat.
There will probably be we'll probably take one Friday off in August, maybe. Because since everybody in Europe goes on vacation anyway.
Now you heard that kind of like if Mickey, who's doing editing for Victor, can take days off, you can do it as well.
I said maybe. I said maybe.
Is that what we're getting to, huh?
It said maybe.
Becoming like a disease spreading around. Now what, others can take vacations as well, huh?
Maybe.
Either.
We'll see. Because we know that most people are taking a break in August anyway. So, and last week was very helpful for me because I did get the studio reset up here. I got my office reset up with the Mac Studio. So 2 weeks ago I was unboxing the Mac Mini, the Mac Studio. What you're watching me on right now is coming through the Mac Mini. Of course, that could have been what was happening instead of the network, but I heard my wife listening to TV and I heard the TV stop, so I knew it was the network. And the Mac Studio, holy cow, that Mac Studio is nice.
Your internet connection reminds me on, a long time ago when I was screaming with people in my house, I'm working, stop doing whatever you're doing with internet, kind of like, I'm working.
Yeah. I've got to do some more work. I realized I was doing a speed test actually through the Mac Mini, which is something I did. Because I had no problem. I've done 2 live streams, or a webinar and a live stream, since we were here 2 weeks ago, and had no problems. So I was figuring everything was fine. Well, I did a check on fast.com just to check my hardwire internet. And I was 90 down, which is fine. And I was 20 up, which is normal for me, which is sad, but it's normal. But my 90 down was like, that was a little confusing because normally when I'm setting hardwired anywhere else in the house, it's like 500. So I've got some debugging to do. But hey, that's what happens. So anyway, back to full business next week, and then probably sometime within the next 5 weeks, we'll probably take another slow week. Okay, we'll do this. Over in the chat, go ahead and if there is a Friday that everybody wants off, like we're doing this in the community right now. If there is a Friday that you want off in August, put it over in the chat. You don't have to put it right now. You can come back and add it to the chat later. Victor, the answer can't be all 4 Fridays. I think there's...
No. I'm just checking whether actually there is a Friday that I'm traveling.
You're already traveling already. Is there?
No.
Not August. Okay. I didn't think so in August. So anyway, and if you don't want to take off any, that's fine too. And that'll help us determine if we know most people aren't going to be here on a Friday, then we might say, you know what, bag it, we're going to take it off too. All right. 19th. Ingen was first with the 19th, so that doesn't sound bad to me. We'll talk about it. Keep voting. I should put a poll up for this. I should put a Twitter poll over on DevOps Paradox. I should do that.
So that's what
I don't know how to do that.
Kind of like others are deciding when you take vacations.
Well, isn't that what happens in the real world anyway?
Yeah, but at least kind of like they're in the same room and can kick you out of your house if you don't comply.
That's true. Miroslav gave us a +1 on the 19th, so we'll think about it. But it's good to have that consistency. So I think that's it. I think I'm going to go get ready and get back to writing some more stuff for next week. And have a great weekend, everybody. And it should be a good weekend for everybody, I hope. Hopefully, if you're in places where it's been hotter than HE double hockey sticks, you've got air conditioning. If you're in the UK, I'm so sorry. I cannot imagine. It's like, if it gets above 70, I have to have AC. So I can't imagine being over.
At least it's more you go towards south, people are more prepared for this.
Yes. But in UK, not so much. All right. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you again next week. Have a great weekend.